This little calf here, he's premature, so he's probably born a couple weeks early. These little guys, they can't quite stand up. This is colostrum that we've got from another cow. So colostrum is really important. Cows are unique. They don't get any immunity from their mothers in utero like we do as humans. The antibodies of the mother can't pass through the placenta. So they really, really, really need to drink some colostrum in their first couple of meals. There's special cells in their intestines, enterocytes, that have big gaps because immunoglobulin, the stuff that immunity is made of, are very big molecules. So they've only, those molecules, or those gaps in the intestines, those enterocytes only last for about 48 hours. So really important when they're little like this that they get some colostrum. It sets them up to succeed for the rest of their life. So this guy's got a little bit of a suckle response, but can't quite stand. But as you can see, he's tiny. He's a little 20-kilo jobby. So yeah, he's just a little sproglet. So yeah, maybe Jade will come up for a name for him. Maybe my kids will. But yeah, he'll end up going around to the house and living out on our little farmlet where we've got a few cows and goats and chickens and everything else. And yeah, this is the nerve center. This is the clinic. Normally you see me out in the field, but here I am in the shop. What you doing, Eggs? Can you give us a hand? You can look after this calf? You're gonna be his mummy? Maybe? He needs a mummy. If he's not so sure. Little calf stole our bed last couple nights, so she's probably a bit dirty on him. Oh, ho, ho. That's away. So just like people, he's got to learn to figure out how to balance himself. Calves are pretty good. They'll be up within about 15-20 minutes of birth normally. This guy being a bit prim, he's just a little bit slower to get his wheels under him. His little brain's still developing. He's supposed to still be inside. Hey, he's having a wee. That's a good thing. It's nice clear urine, so when you're raising poddy calves, you don't want them to get dehydrated, so skin tent. Looks good. Position of the eye in relation to the medial canthus. You don't want a gap between where the eye is and the third eyelid, and the medial canthus, which is the edge of the eyelid. And then when they urinate, you want that urine to be nice and clear. So he's got nice clear urine, so that means he's well hydrated. Yeah, that's a good thing. You want to try to keep the milk consistent. You want to keep the volume that you give. The most common mistake with calves when you're raising them as poddies is to give them too much milk. Again, 10% of their body weight. You give them too much and they can't digest it all, and it gets to their hind gut, and then the bacteria have a bit of a party, and they can get pretty unwell with clostridial bugs growing in their little stomachs and their little guts. So quite a common thing as a veterinarian, people bringing in baby lambs or baby calves that they've overfed them a little bit. On these little guys, stick with that 10%. You know, once they're up and going, people often feed them twice a day, and then offer them some high protein pellets to transition off the milk as they get a bit older. But yeah, when they're little, I like to feed them more times, you know, more smaller feeds throughout the day if you got time to do it. So luckily it's school holidays, so Jamie and the kids will feed this little guy little feeds during the day. I'll give him a good start this morning. And yeah, and he's off to the rodeo. Probably put a couple bags of milk through this guy. Get him a good start. Generally when you wean a calf, like these guys are getting weaned pretty early, they get a bit potty, and that's why they call them poddies. They get a bit pot-gutted. And that's because their rumen's not really developed yet, and it takes them a little while to transition onto grass. So if you want a smooth transition, you want to get them on a bit of a high protein pellet, so that as they start to eat a little bit of grass, they're still going to get enough protein, because their rumen's not really running that well, so they need that protein from those pellets, because they need, as total ed fed, they need somewhere around 17-18% protein. Little calvies for a good outcome. Hello. You don't want to force this milk down their throat, because then they'll aspirate it, which means they take it into their lungs. And aspiration pneumonia is another common thing we see with these little guys. You can get frustrated and modify the teat. You can take a little scalpel and open the teat up a little bit on this bottle, and then the milk runs too easily, and then he can't quite swallow and breathe at the same time, and he'll suck a bit of lung into his lungs, and then you've really set him up to have a bit of a failure. And then, like I said in the video before, it's really important when these newborn calves to get colostrum into them. Otherwise, their immunity's not set up, and it can affect them their entire life as far as their ability to fight disease. So he's starting to get a bit full because he's starting to play with it a bit more. See how he's flicking his head around? So as soon as he's no longer interested in it and bunting me and it, then we'll let him sit. And you can see his little tummy's filling up. And hey, little cowboy, yeah, little Tsunami. So you can see he's starting to fill up. So we'll let him kind of have a bit of a break, and then we'll give him a little bit more later. But remember, 10% of their body weight in milk consumption. So that's what's so good about kilos and liters. If this guy's 20 kilos, 10% of his body weight's 2 liters per day. So yeah, try to split that up over maybe 4 or 5 feeds when he's quite little like this. And then as he gets a bit bigger and he's got his wheels under him, we'll probably transition to a morning and evening feed. And then yeah, give him some nice quality stuff to nibble on. I've got a little enclosure down there in the paddock that I just move around, so they're always on clean green grass. And then yeah, give him some pellets, so a little bit of protein, things like that. And, little cowboy here, get his wheels under him, get started out in life. And yeah, we're talking to my wife about it. Cycle of life, the way I view livestock, which is why I love being a livestock veterinarian. That population of animals is really dictated by the carrying capacity of the property that runs them. And like in every species of animal that's in balance, one female begets one female, so the population stays the same. So a cow's going to have 7 or 8 calves in her life, and in that life, one of those calves is going to be a female that's going to replace her when she gets a bit older, and when maybe her feet are hurting her, or maybe her udder's not working very well, so she can't feed her calf, or maybe she's decided to chase me around the paddock, or she's come up not pregnant. And so that one female comes back and replaces that one female. The males, we only need a handful of males, because in the cattle job, one male can cover 30 to 40 cows. So a lot of the males end up going down the same pathway as the cull heifers, meaning the heifers we don't keep as replacements. And they get grown out, and then they get humanely euthanized, and look, we don't waste them. We do eat them. And but the only reason these guys are around is because we do eat them. However, my wife's saying to me, can we keep these as pets? So it's possible we'll have these great big 2 monster steers running around the paddock for quite some time. Hey, and that's okay. But I love what I do. Hope you do too. See us. Hey, buddy. We'll come get you some more. Oh, you still want a bit more? Let's turn this camera off and we'll get you a bit more food. See you, team.